Oh, I've got a house. I've got a fucking business I'm starting. Who can I date to ruin it all? Don't do it, Coop.
Well, the thing about that
Don't
is like
do it, Coop.
Every time you spiral downwards, if you spiral downwards again, it has to be from a greater height, or else it's not as exciting.
Yeah.
So you spiral downwards.
Shoot for the moon so that when you fall, you land amongst the stars.
Is
right?
that how it works?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you will fall.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, every single time.
Yeah.
It's a cycle I go through in my life.
Intro?
All of us.
Yeah, welcome to the Iconoblast podcast.
Was
this
it
is
recording?
a show that takes a look behind the public facades of famous icons to show you why you can never take anything at face value. My name is Cooper, and as always, I'm joined by Joel Benner.
What's up?
But today we have a very, very special guest, the one and only Jessie Wiseman.
Hi!
Iconoblast. We put the past on blast. Hit 'em with the truth, with things you never knew. Nobody is safe, no thing to place. Got Joel and Coop with history in your face. Iconoblast.
From Jessie Wiseman's Crime Corner. I was thinking about a little bit of a name change for that. I just want to spitball it.
Okay.
What if it was Jessie Wiseman Presents Jessie Wiseman's Crime Corner, starring Jessie Wiseman?
Can we please? That would be.
I would love that.
By the way, I would feel more comfortable saying that than Jessie. I would be like, now it's a joke, right? As long as it's a joke, I'm okay with it. But thanks
I
for
think it's a
having
good
me.
idea.
My gosh, you guys,
been
how
a while.
long has it been
Since Valentine's Day?
that I've been on Iconoblast? But we have been.
It was episode 100 when you
Oh,
and
yeah,
Jack
when you were
Mandeville
Where
George
came
Washington.
Which is why I'm here for
for
part
George
2.
Washington Part 2. We decided to actually have George Washington herself
Right?
join us for Part 2. of George
Recognize
Washington.
me? I wish we did have some kind of, production budget where I could get the movie quality wig
Oh, God,
and
that would be amazing.
I know, but
That'd be badass.
Oh, so just to fill you in on some of the interesting things that we learned about George Washington in the last episode,
Please.
he actually didn't wear a wig.
Oh, yeah, this is crazy.
He was a redhead who powdered his own hair to make it white.
so that you only see it in kind of
Drawings and paintings
Drawings
and
and
shit.
Yeah,
stuff,
but
but
they always
that was
portray him as
like
having the white hair.
right.
Yeah, it wasn't actually white. It was just the style at the time because syphilis was so common.
They had
Imagine,
like rotten
if-
scalps.
Imagine if we had a picture of it. He would look like McAfee. Remember?
Oh,
when he
yeah.
fucking was like, went into that, tried to escape as an old man and just put fucking powder on. I'm sure it didn't look good. Do you know what I mean?
I can't imagine.
Like, I'm
it.
sure
Well,
George
looked like
Washington was
shit.
like, I'm killing it.
I don't think that people started looking good until like maybe the. I think
So true. 70s, probably. 70s. I mean, honestly.
I'll give
50s.
a little bit of leeway. Audrey Hepburn was the first attractive person in history.
And she
Okay.
was what,
I was like
40s?
40s, 50s.
Well, she was born in 40s, but was she was,
Was she? I don't know.
she came to fame, I think, in the 50s, I would say.
Something
yeah?
like that.
Yeah.
Total smoke show. I'm a huge fan of Audrey Hepburn.
Yeah. That's why I said 50s. I'll give you 50s.
Yeah, 50s. That's
50s
as far
when
back
people
as I could go.
50s.
There was.
It's
But-
probably along the lines of when like photography and cameras and stuff were more easy to get to, and so you're like, oh fuck,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
gonna
it wasn't just like
I'm gonna
a-
be on camera and shit. So people started caring more about how they.
Oh my
looked.
God, that's
You
what
have
I
to
look
break
like.
a light bulb every time you take a picture. You know what I mean? Like it was a little bit easier to get a couple snaps off and pick the best one.
You know, I think Joel actually has a really good point that the more common that photography and film became, the more people were seeing themselves and were like, oh God,
Yeah, gross.
that's what I look like.
They were like,
When was,
gross.
when was
Yeah.
mirrors invented?
I
Well-
mean, mirrors have been around for thousands of years.
When did we start like mass producing them in homes? I'll look it up.
That's still been
might be a
thousands
hard-
of years.
Mass producing mirrors thousands of years ago.
Maybe, well, not mass producing. They were a little bit more specialized back in the day. But yeah, so that kind of pokes some holes in my theory. So I'm just going to gloss over the top of it.
Yeah, before that I was just looking at the reflection in like a pond or some kind of
Yeah.
right? I look great.
Be like, oh,
It's like a
seen
built-in
the
filter. I'm
you
looking.
can't
Look at
quite
my
see it.
skin. It's amazing.
You know the term narcissism, that actually comes from a story based off of that. It comes from I
Greek
think it was
mythology, I
Yeah,
think.
Greek
Yeah.
mythology about Narcissus. He spent so much time looking at himself and looking at the reflection of himself in a pond that he just turned into a tree or some shit like that. I don't know. It's been a while since I've
Something.
been in high school mythology class.
Yeah.
Another class that I failed, by the way.
Do you want to do a recap so Jesse knows what we know so far?
Yeah, so at this
Or for
point,
the audience, right?
the Revolutionary War has already begun. George Washington
at killing.
he's a terrible general, an amazing lover, and also an accomplished horseman. I think those are the only things that you really need to know about Washington.
Is he married yet?
At this point, I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Martha Washington didn't really play a big role in the Revolutionary War.
Okay.
He had
Fair.
slaves.
Yeah, he had slaves.
Good for him.
And I went on.
You know,
I
why
always,
can't I just like ask questions? You know what I mean? Like, why can't I just like have a slave? You know what I mean? It's like, God, it's a cancel culture.
I know it's getting out of control. I blame
Out of
TikTok
control.
personally.
You've what?
I blame TikTok personally.
For you not having slaves? Me
Absolutely.
too. Me
No,
too.
nobody was getting up in arms about this shit until
I know.
social media became common.
Seriously.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's tearing this country apart. We're going to a second civil war right now.
I can't.
And a world war at the
I
same time.
can't. I can't.
a World
Culture
War
war. Yeah.
Culture War 1 and World War 3 at the same
Culture
time.
wars.
Civil War II, Culture War I, and World War III all at the same time. We live in an amazingly exciting time in history.
It's
I
so
think
hot.
it's fun. I think it's fun.
So the Revolutionary War raged on, and George Washington. Oh yeah, I already said that he's a terrible general, right?
Yes.
He was a terrible military leader, but he was
Good
very
lover.
inspiring. He was a good figurehead.
So we've been choosing horrible leaders since the very first one.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Presidents, sorry, not leaders.
Well, I mean, same thing. We've had horrible taste in politicians
Yes.
since the beginning.
There you go.
So the Revolutionary War raged on, and George Washington continued to lead his men through a series of bloody battles against the numerically superior British army. And despite the odds against them, the colonists were determined to fight for their freedom, and George Washington became a symbol of hope for the fledgling nation. I think that really was the most important thing about Washington, and he was the symbol of the country that everybody could look to at the time. Because
He was a statue before he was a statue,
oh
right?
yeah, absolutely. Oh, and
He was
a
literally
fucking-
just
was
like
just
a
a
body to fucking put up there, which, by the way, is kind of what it should always be, right? Like, put the best looking, most charismatic person up there. Don't let them decide anything.
Yeah, that's-
right. Just have them say, do the speeches and get
Exactly.
everybody fucking.
Exactly. You have an entire team of people making one person look like they know what they're doing. That
Yes.
person doesn't need to know what they're doing.
No.
This is
Clearly.
This is all Hollywood, baby.
Hey, baby.
It's Hollywood, baby.
So one of the most significant battles of the war was the Battle of Monmouth in 1778. The British Army had captured Philadelphia, and the Continental Army was struggling to regroup. George knew that he needed a decisive victory to turn the tide of war. He was determined to jam his boots so far up the collective asses of the Brits that their great-grandchildren would taste leather.
Holy shit,
First-
that was
I
awesome.
feel like I just fucking love it.
First
Not
year
to
of the
be
war.
gay, but go ahead.
Oh god, the last
don't say-
episode was way more homoerotic than this one.
we don't
Yeah.
we don't say gay on the Iconoblast podcast. Sorry,
What do you
Jesse.
say?
We don't?
Which one do you say?
We don't.
No
we,
homo.
We prefer the
Which
more
one do you
socially acceptable
say?
term, lighten the loafers. Thank you very much.
Oh, okay. Not the F word, huh?
No.
No, that's only off the air.
I just
All
fucking
the
come
time.
on. I come on your show and just fucking get you
Just raise
canceled. First, I talk about wanting slaves. Then I drop the F word.
Me personally,
Not fuck.
I'm still on the fence about the whole Emancipation Proclamation thing.
Look, it's just like I just want the government to like stay out of my business.
It's not a racial thing. It's just like I don't want the
You know,
federal
in
government
these
overstepping its bounds.
economic times, I give you eggs. I give you shelter.
excuse me, you're
food, you give me what? Work. You know what I'm saying?
labor.
Labor.
Exactly. That's what I say all the goddamn time off the air generally.
What is the problem? Who among us? Would anyone out there? Do you want to take that fucking job right now? I bet you do.
Let him who is without slaves cast the first stone.
Thank you.
I think Jesus said that.
Well spoken.
Jesus?
Jesus?
He's one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, does great carpentry work.
Saw this on a podcast question. Just sorry, I'm not going to interrupt anymore.
Oh no, interrupt as much as you want.
Let's say you could have a
whole lot of
slave.
notes to
What
work.
country are you getting the slave from? Top of your head.
What's the job?
If you could have any
Just
slave you
just
wanted?
a slave.
General
Slave at your
labor?
house.
American white woman.
What country? Oh, you're going just like you and your sick fuck wife. You're going fucking dom sub. No, I'm going like hard labor, dude.
Yeah,
like
that's what I
you
was
want.
thinking. If you follow Joel's example, you're just going to end up doing all the work yourself. while
Exactly
somebody else
right. Exactly right. He
bitches
doesn't
at
know
you
what
all
he's
the time.
talking about.
Yeah.
You're a homeowner now. So if you were to get a slave, what country are you going?
I don't like this question
Okay,
at all.
no, it's
Why?
a valid question. It is a very valid question.
Why don't you like the
we're
question?
Not, we're
We all
not.
have slaves already right now.
We're not advocating for
do you have
slave.
a
Well,
cell
no, we're
phone?
talking about like personal
What are you
ownership,
talking about, dude?
Not 6 degrees of separation. If you own a smartphone,
Just a
it's slave
hypothetical,
labor.
man. Just like
Yeah.
off the top of your head, what's the first country you think? Is it Philippines? Is it fucking China? Is it me? Obviously, Mexico,
for me.
right? Like, I don't know. What do you think is gonna suit your needs?
I would go with the exact same choice. Mexico would be the first choice for me. If just like if I needed somebody who could do like literally anything that I need him to do.
So I got this from. They asked this exact question on Bad Friends, right? Bobby Lee and fucking Andrew Santino.
I love that show.
Or it may have been on Theo Vaughn, something like this. But
Who would be the
Mexico
best slave?
only. I mean, they can do everything. Somehow
Everything.
they know. Sorry, but they know how to do fucking everything.
It's like it's the most fucked up like compliment I've ever heard.
It's just fucking true.
It's-
That's where my family's
yeah, it's-
from. They may not be like on 23andMe Mexican, right? But they're from Mexico. My family's from Mexico, right? So like, they just, like they said on this pod, they could do the shingles and then they could fucking fix the fence and they could, you know what I mean? Like they
Make
they
amazing
could caulk that,
food.
they could fix the sink. I mean, they could do fucking everything.
Landscaping, painting.
I can't figure
everything.
out one thing. Like it would take me forever to like master how do I put a sink in, right? And they can just be like, "Oh yeah, I'll put the sink in. Oh yeah, I can do the carpet. Oh yeah, I'll do the
Yeah.
roof." Like it's insane.
Oh,
So
yeah.
whatever.
It is insane. No, that's what I think is
Hardworking, smart. By the way, you have to be smart to know all of that shit and
Absolutely.
to do it well.
smart and confident.
Well, they don't
To-
really
to
do
be
it
able to
well,
work
let's
from-
be honest.
Yeah, they do.
Oh,
Yeah, they do.
dude, yeah, you go to any
Get
construction
a fucking
site
white
that-
dude to fucking do your roof. See how it fucking works
yeah,
out.
Yeah, and then you're gonna
See
pay.
how fucking good it is.
You're gonna pay a bunch of Mexicans to go back
right,
and
sorry.
fix the roof. It's gonna cost you twice as much money.
Drink. I think we should drink.
You guys
Yeah, we
asked
should've
me.
drank for all that.
Severe drinking that has
Well,
to be done.
on this show, you guys drink when I'm racist,
This
right?
is culturally insensitive for sure. Jesse, you need to drink right now.
You
No,
guys drink when I'm racist, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
drink anytime you're racist,
You're
and that's
welcome.
why I have a drinking problem. Like inside the show, outside the show, everywhere. I'm just like, I assume
You can
Jesse.
just you'll be like, well,
It may be 9:30 in the morning, but Jesse probably said something racist, so I better
Jesse's
catch up.
somewhere like giving some backhanded compliment to another race. Running coach? Just kidding. Go ahead. Good- no, come on. All right. Okay, go ahead.
We all know the answer. to
Sorry,
that,
go
too.
ahead.
Kenya.
Thank you.
Yes, exactly.
See? I
Drink.
told you
It's-
you were racist.
I don't think that that's racist though, because they are literally the best.
It's
long
racist, but it's positive racism. We've talked about this too.
But you
Oh.
can't have positive racism.
Racism
yeah, I'm
reverse.
saying something positive about a race.
That's
Kenyans run
that's like a
fast.
positive. So that's not racism. You're saying something that's factually accurate, that they're
About
the,
a race.
the best long distance runners in the world. No, racism is a bias towards people who have a different
Racism
color.
reversa.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
I like that better. So it's racism reversa. Good Latin term.
You're welcome.
I think that's Latin.
Yep. It's all Latin.
You speak Latin? That's cool.
The leader of the British Army, which I think this guy So the leader of the British Army, his name was General Sir Henry Clinton. And I think we know where that family ended up.
It's been the same family for years.
Same goddamn family.
They go back
Same
and forth between
families.
Clinton, Bush. I mean, my gosh.
And the Kennedys. It's actually true though.
No, it is actually true.
Like modern politics
So true.
is almost just as
It's like
inbred.
4 families.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They all descend from the same families.
Yeah.
And all those families, they happen to descend from European royalty. It's the same.
Sorry,
fucking people
the
taking over
most
world.
prolific spreaders of their seed. Kennedys.
Oh, God.
Kennedys. My God. I mean, everyone's related to a fucking Kennedy.
I don't know how JFK had enough time to get assassinated with all the tail.
I think
he
it was like,
getting.
yeah, exactly. But I think it was like, there's so many. It's like 3 brothers?
At this point, I mean, they're dropping like flies, to be perfectly honest. I think
No,
there's
they
3
were,
left.
but I think there's 3. And the dad was somebody. Mom
Ooh,
was
the dad was
somebody. Then you go down from like, I mean, JFK's family, then that fucking spreads out.
Yeah.
All them kids.
I mean, literally. It's
And
insane.
I think the dad was, I don't remember the name off the top of my head. I think it was Joe Kennedy or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't Arnold Bang
Absolute
Kennedy?
monster. Yeah,
Yeah.
Maria Shriver.
Yeah.
Shriver.
Yeah. Fuck
And
yeah.
again, you go like, oh, Shriver, like, how? But it's the tentacles run deep.
The roots run deep.
Yep.
And at the bottom, they're all touching each other. So, like, they're all still
So
almost as inbred
Schwarzenegger
as they
blood
used
is
to be.
Kennedy blood now, like permanently, because they had 3 kids together.
Yeah, his offspring.
Yep.
It's crazy.
They're descendants of royalty.
It's so crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So General Sir I almost said Hillary Clinton.
Oh.
No,
Might as well.
I'll go with it. General Sir
Yeah, yeah.
Hillary Clinton had a reputation as a skilled and ruthless commander.
It's true.
Still,
Perfect.
yeah.
Perfect.
The what is it? The acorn doesn't fall far from the tree.
The cherry tree. The cherry doesn't far fall from the cherry tree.
Oh yeah, did you know the whole cherry tree story about Washington is made up also?
Total myth.
Yeah, total myth. It
Not
was
one. Not one kernel of
one single.
A writer just made it up to
tiny
make
little
him
nugget
seem
of
cool,
truth.
and it fucking worked.
fake
It-
news, even
but
back then, dude.
still, if you look at the rest of George Washington's life, and the most memorable thing that most people know about him is that he chopped down a cherry
Wooden
tree when he was
teeth.
6 years
Oh,
old. And
okay.
wooden teeth is bullshit. Also, they were
What was
actually
it?
It was slave teeth.
slave teeth.
And he had
I'm
him
sorry, I
put.
shouldn't laugh at that. It was a combination of
Pig's feet. And,
most
and
likely,
pig's feet and slave teeth.
yeah, pig's feet and slave teeth. No, it was,
Actually, slave teeth though.
What was it? It was like connected. It was like dentures, basically, right?
yeah.
Made
If you
out
look
of-
at,
It was like the first grill ever made.
I would,
Yeah, yeah.
that's what it looks like. I
Yeah.
would really, really like to see how he looked wearing them because they look like those comedy teeth.
How much
that
meth
bounce
was he
around on
doing
the table.
that he needed them?
How much meth was he doing?
That he needed the teeth? Like,
Oh,
why
they
did
didn't
Why
even-
did he
No, I
need
mean
the
there was
teeth?
no real dentistry back
Yeah, that's
then, right?
that's the main thing. Well,
yeah.
it was they had a very high amount of grain in their diet.
Yeah.
So that kind of gets
the
that'll
sugar
fuck up your
content,
the sugar
yeah, yeah,
content's
yeah.
going to fuck up your teeth too. They didn't need to have all the candy that we have today, but yeah, they had poor dental hygiene and ate a lot of grain. So
I
that
love
was-
sweet
Carried
corn
over
tips.
from England.
and that is why we fought the Revolutionary War.
Those
'Cause of the
teeth,
stupid
bro.
accent.
Those teeth, dude.
Oh yeah, look at how far we've advanced.
We just wanted
over the
better
UK.
teeth.
Yeah,
We were
But
just like,
his-
dude, we cannot fucking do. I mean, hot chick, boom, grill right in your face. They couldn't fucking handle. Oi, how you doing? They're like, dude, we can't. We've got to make our own country and just like figure out some dental stuff.
Gotta get away from all these chavs.
Australian,
That's
isn't it?
Australian.
No,
It's
oi comes from the
Oi.
UK
Oi.
also.
Right.
Australia is nothing but a bunch of criminals from Britain anyway.
Thank you.
I mean, it's
understand.
essentially the same country. It's just
Defectors,
one of
yeah.
them's a lot more fun, and I'll let you guys guess which one's more fun. Yeah, but really, George Washington's teeth, they look like something out of a Saw movie or something like that. They look horrifying. They still have.
But by the way, everybody's did, right? So it's like,
Yeah, well, I'm talking about his fake teeth, like what they were able to make to replace the ones that he
yeah.
lost, is even
just
worse.
kind of shove slave teeth into some weird fucking. God damn. And they're like,
it looks like it's.
baby, look pretty now, mommy. No, bro, no.
Holy shit!
Let's do no teeth. Actually, let's take those out.
I would go with
No
no teeth
teeth.
before going with
Oh,
George Washington's
100%.
dentures. It looks like
With his scalp just
And then
melting off too.
There's no like,
well, he didn't
there's
have
nothing
syphilis.
to even keep it up. He's just kind of.
Well, and also, like, the dentures that he had, it's like a block of metal with just weird-looking teeth sticking out of it that he must have just jammed in his mouth.
Maybe
and
he
used them
just
that
maybe
way.
he just wore them for like paintings and photos and stuff.
I think he wore them for like
And then you
events
take them out to
or
talk. Yeah,
you know.
It's like high heels.
Oh, these are my going-out teeth.
I mean, but
Sunday
seriously,
Actually, though, probably
It could
if it's
be.
uncomfortable.
They had to be uncomfortable. They look horrifying.
Yeah, that was for fancy days. Those were his fancy shoes.
You know, I'm fancy, better have my teeth today. Oh, hey, everybody. It's time to take a quick break to show some support for the companies that support the show. And today's first sponsor is Qualia Mind by Neurohacker. In today's fast-paced world, you need to be firing on all cylinders if you want to keep up, and that's where Qualia Mind can help. Neurohacker combines 28 of the most research-backed nootropic ingredients on Earth into the ultimate brain fuel formula. It's been changing people's lives for years. The formula is non-GMO, vegan, gluten-free, and the ingredients are meant to complement one another, increasing each ingredient's effect on mental clarity. It's also backed by a 100-day money-back guarantee, so you have plenty of time to decide if Qualia Mind is right for you. Now, if you really want to know how effective this is, consider this. I've been working since before 8 a.m. today. It's almost midnight now, and I've memorized this entire ad break. When was the last time you saw me do any ad without reading from a script? See what the best brain fuel formula on Earth can do for you and your mindset. Go to neurohacker.com/icon for $100 off. That's only $39 a bottle. And as a listener of Iconoblast, use the code ICON at checkout to get an extra 15% off your first purchase. That's neurohacker.com/icon to try Qualia Mind with the code ICON to experience life-changing mental performance. And next up, we have Simply Safe. Did you know that property crimes like burglaries and package thefts spike over the winter? That's why now is the best time to secure the award-winning home security system known as Simply Safe. Simply Safe is the home security system I recommend to everybody because I actually use it myself. As many of you know, I just purchased my first home this year, and the first thing I did was order a Simply Safe system. And let me tell you why. In an emergency, professional monitoring agents use Fast Protect technology exclusively from Simply Safe to capture critical evidence and verify the threat is real so you can get priority police response. With advanced sensors for every room, window, and door, Simply Safe is security for you and your entire home. They have HD security cameras for both inside and outside your home, motion detection that only alerts you when a threat is real, and even hazard sensors to detect fires, floods, and anything else Mother Nature can throw at you. My favorite feature of Simply Safe is their top-rated app that lets you control your system anytime, anywhere. Arm or disarm, unlock for a guest, access your cameras, or adjust your settings, all from your phone. Customize the perfect system for your home in just a few minutes at simplysafe.com/icon. Go today and claim a free indoor security camera plus 20% off with interactive monitoring. That's simplysafe.com/icon. There's no safe like Simply Safe. So, Sir Hillary Clinton's army was much larger and better equipped and more experienced than the Continental Army. The likelihood of a U.S. victory was slim, but overwhelming odds gave George an erection hard enough to carve Mount Rushmore. Flubbed the delivery on that one.
Was it
It's
called
good.
the U.S. already?
It's good.
No, it didn't become
okay.
the
No, it was.
United States. It was the colonies back then.
Sure.
It's the U.S. though.
George had journeyed from afar to pound posteriors and consume Johnny cakes. And he had exhausted
Pound
his supply of
posteriors?
Johnny cakes. He came to kick ass and chew bubble gum, and he was all out of bubble gum. Come on, Jesse.
Come on, damn it. Sorry. I just didn't know if there was like a story in part one where he was just like anal only.
Oh, he's been pounding. He's been pounding pussy.
He said
both
posterior.
Parts. Oh, that's true. He
He
switched. He got older.
Front and back door.
Yeah,
Well, I
he
mean,
switched.
Look,
eventually,
when you get older,
if
it's
you
just
spend
like,
enough time
I'm
with
fucking
one, nothing else is exciting.
just
You gotta
tired.
Spice it up a little bit.
George was the first one to say.
As we've said, even on this show before,
Yeah.
all roads lead to the butthole.
And
And in the end, it's just the butthole.
I think that needs to be a shirt. All roads lead
All
to the
roads. I mean,
butthole.
it was on the internet, but we're finding that like all roads just in life,
throughout
really
history.
does.
it all ends inside someone's butthole.
Out there drawing. It could be like that typical drawing of like the little guy standing in the middle, and then the hard road is the stairs to heaven, and then
Yeah.
the easy road goes to hell. You
All
do
roads.
a play on that where it's a butthole.
We should do that shirt that's like all roads on the internet lead to the inside of someone's butthole. I mean, 100%.
Wait, they've even been writing poetry about that for years. Because what's that famous poem? Was it Jonathan Swift or Longfellow, The Road Less Traveled? I took the road less traveled by.
George Washington coined any port in a storm, right? That was George.
I think that was George, yeah.
Yeah, that was an excuse that he used when he was talking to his troops, like, hey,
Hey, guys.
you got to
Any
do what you got
port
to
in a
do.
storm.
That's why people loved him. That's why people respected him as a leader. He wasn't judgmental.
Well, because he got
Slaves.
caught sleeping with his slaves.
He was just like, he was
I don't think
dirt.
you could
He
get
was
caught.
dirt bagging, and he was like, I'm fucking one of you guys, dude. I'm gonna like fight with you, kind of. Like, I'm here too, right? Like, I think he was. I think he was trying to be like, we're all in this together.
You have to.
He
you
fought
have
a couple
to,
times actually in the
Yeah?
front line,
Kind of.
right?
Oh,
Yeah.
he actually did. He would.
He
get
really
in the
did?
fight.
Before he
Yeah,
became
I
top
respect
dog.
that.
That's part of how it became a statue.
Well, he
before
he
a
was
statue.
always on top. He was on top from the beginning. That's the way you like to do things.
He's not a power bottom like me.
So the battle. So we're on the Battle of Monmouth in 1778. The battle began on a sweltering day in June. Washington sat astride his majestic steed, surveying his ragtag band of soldiers, all of whom.
Had swamp ass.
Well, that too, but I felt like that was less dramatic. Than all of whom
everybody just
had a
smelled-
thirst that only
smelled
British
bad.
blood could quench.
Hot.
That's something I think about a lot. History
All the time,
smelled
dude.
horrible.
the
Everything
time.
smelled like shit.
But you were
That's why I
used to
can't
it,
watch
so it
Game
didn't
of
smell.
Thrones.
How
God, they just.
how can I get
fucking
aroused by this when I know that everybody smells like they're covered in human
smells,
and
dude.
animal shit?
smell like mold and fucking.
But you smelled it your whole life,
got-
so
you got-
therefore it wouldn't smell.
Yeah, for sure. You get
Rotting
used to it.
teeth, rotting scalps from syphilis.
Nobody's brushing their teeth. Nobody's wearing
Yeah.
deodorant. Nobody's showering. Nobody's washing clothes.
Yeah, if
What's-
you time traveled back to there, it'd be fucked.
What's
It
funny
would take you a
is
second.
some
I'd
of
kill
the
myself.
some of the people that like the culture that we consider to be like the most horrible, unwashed barbarians of the past, the Scandinavians or the Vikings. They were looked down on by people from the rest of Europe because, they were just a bunch of pretty boys. They would bathe once a week. Are you kidding me?
Oh,
They
yeah, they
combed their
cleaned.
hair.
gay? They were all gay? Yeah. Dang, that was the first like shaming,
Oh, yeah. They
like metro shaming.
the English especially, they looked down on the Vikings because they were like, they just primp and preen all the time. They
then
go
the
around and
Vikings
fuck
slaughtered
everybody's
their ass.
wives. They were also known for doing that. They would
yeah,
go
they fucked
after
everybody.
nobles' wives and hook up with them. But
Yeah,
all the
because they
women
were
wanted
hot
them
as
too.
shit and they fucking smelled good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Back in those days, I'd probably go for a Viking,
Right?
man or woman. As
Yeah.
George Washington said, any port in a storm. So Washington sat astride his majestic steed, surveying his ragtag band of soldiers, all of whom had a thirst that only British blood could quench. A bead of sweat slowly slid down his face, tracing his chiseled jawline before dripping from his stubbled chin. Somewhere in the distance, a bald eagle sang a song of freedom. The great general tucked his murder boner into his belt and ordered his men forward. It was a bad day to be British.
Hot. Hot.
That was hot.
That was hot, right?
I got a half chub right
I
now.
took just a little bit of artistic
Liberties?
No, that's what
Sure,
actually
sure,
happened.
sure. No.
Just a bit, though. I mean, I'm
Just
sure.
a bit. It was pretty accurate. Though.
Yeah, I pretty much reworded something directly from one of his biographies.
Yeah,
I
and just added a couple.
You
sexed
channeled,
it
your,
up a little
you
bit,
channeled
you know?
your ancestors and found the truth. That's what I heard.
The Continental Army launched a surprise attack on the British. The fighting was intense, and the two sides clashed in a brutal melee, with men falling on both sides. The British Army initially had the upper hand, and the Continental Army was on the verge of defeat, but George refused to give up. Quit was not in his vocabulary. I don't think the word had been invented yet.
Yeah, Gary V wasn't around yet. Right?
Oh, God, that guy, I love watching his videos.
I
but
love
holy
him.
Shit, he would be a nightmare to hang out with.
I love him.
Oh,
I've gone back and forth with that guy where I'm like, dude, fuck you. And then I'm like, God, you're right. I love you. You know what I mean?
Like he would
he's-
be the type of guy that he would be a lot of fun to be around in somewhat short periods of time.
yeah, not
It would be
one-on-one.
exhausting to be around him. all
Not
the time.
one-on-one. Same way that I can't I wouldn't be able to talk to Johnny Depp one-on-one, right? It's too
that would be
intense.
insufferable too.
Insufferable, too intense, too much eye contact, too much
I could
do you know what I mean?
I'd get drunk with Johnny Depp for sure. That'd be fun.
Oh hell
You'd
yeah!
have to start
Drunk,
hammered.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's totally
It would have to be
different than-
I walk into his winery and he's already
Already fucked
fucking
up.
wasted.
Then it'll be
and then
fun.
I go, what up?
Exactly.
Same with Gary Vee. Where it's
Yeah,
if
'cause-
he's doing some kind of talk, I'm in. If he's talking to a group of people, yes. If it's one-on-one, I would not.
Well, it seems like he would turn.
I would not be able to do it.
He would turn everything into a competition. It's like you're both sitting there just having a glass
Yeah.
of water. He's like, I bet I can drink this faster.
Yeah. That or how do you feel about drinking that water? You know what I mean? You're like, I just want to.
It's like,
thirsty.
how about you just let me quench my thirst?
Yeah, but why? But why do you? You know what I mean? You're like, because I'm thirsty. And exactly. You're just like, what? Why?
And then you have to spend all this time thinking, wait,
yeah.
what does he mean by that?
Yes,
Because
yes.
if I ask the question, I know that I'm going to look like an idiot, and
Yeah,
I don't want
no
to look like
chill.
an idiot in front of
No
Gary
chill.
Vee's. Oh, God damn it. You just always have to be on guard.
Yes, no chill. There's no,
Yeah.
and I know that only because I grew up in Ojai,
Oh,
which is where every single person is like that. It's all like a long, intense hug. Long,
good to see you.
handshake with a lot of eye contact. How are you? I'm fine. How are you really? I'm fine. How are
Fuck
you?
off.
Do you know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
why I had to leave.
Yeah.
Because sincerity and me don't. Do you know what I mean? We do not mix.
In that Venn
if you are
diagram,
a
they do not overlap.
Not with
sincere,
some fuckface you don't know. Hell no.
no, but anything. If you're super sincere only, everything's just sincere and genuine. I'm gonna fucking annihilate you. Do you know what I mean? I can't have a conversation. I'll make fun of literally everything you do and say. Right?
And
So
well,
I couldn't be there anymore,
Yeah.
to be honest. I just was offending people left and right by just being
I never liked
chill
Ohio.
out. You know what I mean?
And also an extension of what you were talking about. One of the things that just kind of grates on me with people that act that way.
Yes.
Is they'll remember more things about me than I remember about them. I won't see them for God knows
Sure.
how long, and all of a sudden they're coming up and just acting
how
like they're
is-
super interested in my life. I'm like,
Yes.
I have literally not thought about you since the last time that I saw you.
right.
I don't care what's going
Are you
on in
talking
your
about
life.
me?
Why are
Right.
you acting like you care about my life?
Matthew Cooper, how are you? Buddy,
Matthew Jackson
how was
Cooper.
your... Yeah. It's just too... You're like, oh, God. It's always a lot. And by the way, they can interact beautifully. It may be the right way to be, right?
I don't think
But
so.
I can't jump in. I can't have a conversation. It's just not.
If everything is always so goddamn serious where you can't actually let your guard down, because that's all performative. There's
has to be.
no question that it's all performative.
Are you sure?
And that's my
why they're
thing. I could just-
Absolutely.
I
Do you
just
think they
go-
really give a shit about you? No. They want to look good because they're acting like they give a shit about you.
Maybe they do though, Coop.
In
and
Ojai?
maybe we are the pieces of shit. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
I was gonna
But
say,
I cannot ever. I just cannot break. I can't break away
I'm
from
not going
that.
to care about you, so quit caring about me.
Yeah, it makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, I guess maybe that's what I'm getting. And actually,
think that's what
Jesse,
it is.
I think that was a very poignant statement that you just made. Is maybe we are just kind of assholes. I mean, me, I know that I'm an asshole.
What do you mean?
Same.
Maybe? That's
I-
what I was, yeah. We
Same.
all know what we are. That's why we all
We
ended
are.
up here.
It's
We are.
It's like going and seeing a distant relative that you very rarely see, and you have to kind of pretend like you give a shit what's going on with them, but you really don't. But you're that way all the time.
Right.
That's not natural.
Right. It's exhausting, right? When you leave those situations or family gatherings or whatever, you have to do that. It's fucking exhausting. All you want to do.
Fucked up.
I would.
You
are so
are the
fucked up.
exact same way. So don't fucking
Yeah,
sit
come on,
there and
Joel.
act like you're fucking oh,
This is the
Lord.
reformed dirtbag crew. We
Yes.
can all be honest with each other.
And I think it's important. I think it's important to say that we are all from like Ventura, Santa Barbara, Ojai area, and that 100% shaped how we are today because we couldn't do that. And we found each other, right? Because we're just like, these fucking hippie fucks. Do you know what I mean? Like, God damn. I don't want to hug you. We're not going to hug.
touch
We
me.
never,
Yeah.
we're not
Don't
going to
touch me.
hug
Yeah.
for a
No,
long, God.
If we hug, it's because we're drunk and it's like 1 o'clock
Yes,
in the
and
morning.
we're like,
and we've
love
got
you,
all this
dude.
dopamine going
I
through our
love you,
heads.
dude.
And
But
I
like-
already partied with you 10 times before.
Middle
Yes.
of the day, at a coffee shop, the long hug.
Ugh.
How
no.
are you doing? No, how are you really doing? Thing. And then the handshake and the eye contact. My gosh, and I've been thinking
You've been
about
on my
you.
mind.
You've been on my mind. I've been thinking about you and your family. How are you?
See, I think that is so
fuck.
rude to do to someone, to put them in a position where they have to address the fact that they literally have not thought about you
Yeah,
since the
your-
last
your
time
response
that
is,
you
Exactly
hung out
right.
with them.
What's your-
Exactly right.
And what's your name?
Yeah.
Exactly right. And it's Moon Tower fucking, it's something fucking summer Moon Tower field.
Yeah,
And
sunrise.
So, sunrise
Summer
Moon Tower
Moon Tower
field.
Field.
Yes,
That's
that
gonna
they
be the name of
just
my first
changed
dog.
and like you used to know me as this and whatever. And
I
they
used to be a
don't
man.
they don't even find the humor in it. Do you know what I mean? Like they will with a straight face tell me that their name is Moon Tower Field Flower. And I can't laugh. I can't laugh. That's where I go, I can't do this.
Time to move.
I gotta move. I gotta at least just
Literally
go
leave the state.
leave the state.
Yeah.
Because
Ventura wasn't that
even
bad.
you go Ventura, it's not that bad, but
they're
they
there.
kind of creep.
They're
They
there.
creep in.
Yeah, they're there.
Right. They're at the beach doing
It's because
something.
Ojai is just
hot.
close enough to Ventura, and Ojai doesn't have a beach.
Right.
Yeah, the
doesn't have a
summers,
beach.
Ventura becomes Ojai Part 2.
And Ojai has the ordinance, which we all love, but no big corporations can go in there, so it's all mom and pop. So if you want to get anything, you have to go to Ventura.
You gotta-
So here they fucking come. Ding, 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 ding.
Got to go to Rainbow Bridge and get an overpriced burrito.
Yeah.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
the Rainbow Bridge
I
food.
do
know,
love
their
the
burritos are
Rainbow
so expensive,
Bridge.
though.
Their food was
I
good.
do love the Rainbow Bridge. Used to work there.
You worked at Rainbow Bridge?
Got in
Really?
trouble so many times.
There
I
were
could
troublemakers
imagine.
there, you could tell.
I got in trouble so many times because I was me, right?
Doing drugs in there?
No, just I was
Taken?
me. And they are,
Oh, serving people?
yeah.
I'd like a kale salad, and you're like, what?
There was a midget that came in. Sorry, little person.
Oh, I love where this is going.
There's a little person that came in. You know how we have the different.
You were right the first time.
So it's like a deli type. I worked in like the deli area, and there's the different.
In the back.
There's the large, medium. There's the small containers.
I know those very well. Oh, God, I already know.
Do you know what I mean? So
Oh,
like,
no.
do you know what I mean?
Oh, no.
So like, I can't work there. I can't work there. I go.
What did you say? What did you say?
Small, right? I go small, right? No, they actually wanted the 24 ounce or whatever.
Well, because they're feeding 6 or 7 of their little friends.
Sure.
I thought you were going to say, do you want a large, medium, or midget?
No. I said small, right?
Now, see, I've never had to experience what it's like to be a little person, as you said, or do they prefer dwarf or little
I'm
person?
close
They all
enough. I'm
kinda-
close enough. I'm close enough to a legal midget that I felt like, oh, I can say that because I'm. Do you know what I mean? I
Yeah,
can
it's-
Did
say
you
it.
wink at him?
No, it's like having a black friend. That
Small,
lets you.
right?
That allows you
Yeah.
to say the N word.
Small, and they're like, what? No.
You blew him a
I
kiss?
thought, but again, I thought it was funny. I
Okay.
thought we were gonna have a funny fucking
Exactly.
thing.
But you were in Ojai,
If-
so it wasn't.
But I was in Ojai, and they were in Rainbow Bridge, and they were clearly fucking.
Pew,
all
pew.
bougie and
They were clearly like taking a holistic approach to their
sense of humor. Apparently.
body and life, and
See,
meditation
I
and
like to
everything.
think-
And I was just like, if you don't think that's funny,
then fuck you.
you got
Then fuck you and everybody you
so
know.
I was written up.
Got a
I was
yellow
written
card.
up.
I like to think that if I did have a disability, is it okay to say disability
Yeah.
nowadays? Okay, so
Yeah.
I like to think if I did have a disability like that, I'd have a good sense of humor about it. Because if you're defensive
have
over
to.
it, you're making your life so much
Right,
more
it's-
miserable than it needs to be.
It's me. I'm like, obviously, like, what's up? Small?
Now, see,
Do you know what I mean? Like, that's funny.
Because what
You don't. What
Maybe
you don't
it's
have.
not funny after like the 500th time it's happened to him.
I doubt. By the way, I doubt that that's ever happened to them.
Not
Do you know what I
in
mean?
Ohio,
That
for
people
sure.
don't
True.
do that. People don't do that. So
Yeah.
they try and act like it's. Oh, hi, you're
did they- how did
normal.
they react?
Go, hey, you're normal, right? That's how everyone's like trying to treat them. I don't think it's weird. You're normal. What's up? And
Are-
so I like just
are you
pointed
short?
out
I didn't even notice.
straight up. Small? Huh? No, I'm joking.
That's actually the way that I feel about it, though, because what do you do with your friends that you're close with? You give them shit.
Give them shit.
You
You
fuck,
care
That's how
about
you
them.
know
fuck
your
with
friends
people.
if you fuck with
Yeah,
each other.
as soon as somebody starts fucking with
It
you, that
makes
means like
people feel-
okay, they're comfortable with me.
In
They're
our
comfortable enough
circle-
to do that.
That's
In our
that's
circle,
our
it
type of
makes-
people though. It's
it-
not everybody.
It should be though. It makes
Yeah,
people feel
absolutely.
like
No, they can be hippies and we can be dirtbags. I think we need to let them be, and they can let us be.
we did.
Separate,
And they will.
separate but equal, if you
Yeah.
will.
But I actually no. But they should be like us because they'd be way cooler to hang out with.
Yeah.
Everybody.
No, they can have fun doing whatever they fucking do.
They've
I don't
never
know.
had fun.
And what do you even do for fun when you're that type of person? Like what's
Just feed each other bean sprouts and shit. Like
You
I
have
don't
like
know.
secret
There's
drug
no-
addictions.
No,
and
they
you have,
do.
like,
No,
secret
they do.
alcohol
They
problems
do.
and
Like
shit.
they get together and do fucking like hallucinogenics and like really fucking.
okay?
Get,
That's cool.
I
Not
guess.
the
I mean,
way-
how
not
can
the
you-
way they
Not
do
the
it.
way they do it,
Oh,
by the
okay,
way.
see, and that's
you
a-
go to their fucking thing and it's like all getting connected with the
They
earth, and I'm
hold
like,
hands and
dude.
meditate. No, I want to party when
I'm like,
fucked up.
dude.
Oh yeah, let's sit in this sweat lodge and do mushrooms, and we'll all hold hands and talk about
Yes.
our personal
Yeah,
traumas. It's like,
yeah.
why don't we just watch a fucking
Yes.
Marvel movie and trip balls?
Yes.
you
Go for a
fucking
walk through the
nerds.
forest.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Where it's just like even their fun is not fun. So like,
It's disgusting.
God bless. I mean, God bless. But like, we're not going back there, and it is important. That's what I was saying. Giving context to why we are the way that we are, because we were just like, dude, fuck that shit.
And you know who we have to thank for Ojai? George Washington.
Yeah.
See?
Sorry.
If
Bringing
it
back,
wasn't for
bringing it
George
back.
Washington,
Sorry.
Ohio would be full of a bunch of British people right now, which I
Ooh,
dare
which-
say is
That'd be
much
fucking
worse.
fun as shit.
No, if they had that
The best
accent-
fucking bartender at the hub was that fucking British guitar player. Remember?
The only-
No,
at
the cool ones move out of
redhead
the UK
chick is the only one I know.
to come
Wait,
here.
which one's the hub? The hut. It's the hut downtown.
I always mix them. The one downtown is the one with the redhead chick that was cool.
But it was
the hut
also
was
the guy-
Hut's the cool one that's in Mission.
Oh, okay. So the
Mission Oaks
hub
or,
was the one with the British guitar player that played on "While My Guitar Gently Weeps" for the Beatles.
That's a great song.
Yeah,
Right.
and he looked like that. He had the long gray hair.
Oh,
the
that
fucking
guy. Dude,
yes.
It took me a second to
Yes.
to remember that guy.
Thank you. So the coolest person in Ojai
He
is
was
British.
fucking Brit.
Thank you.
All right.
Go ahead.
Well, back to somebody who kicked all the British people out of America initially.
Oh, fuck you, George Washington.
All right, so the Continental Army launched a surprise attack on the Brits. The fighting was intense, and the two sides clashed in a brutal melee with men falling on both sides. The British Army initially had the upper hand, and the Continental Army was on the verge of defeat, but George Washington didn't know how to say quit. He rallied his troops and personally led a charge into the British lines, breaking the British Army. That's one of the things, like, George Washington is another one of those historical figures that I love, similar to Caesar, just because it's like, all right, yeah, you did some fucked up shit if you compare him to current moral standards, but goddamn, that's ballsy.
You gotta have nuts.
Like,
Yeah.
especially
You gotta
with-
have balls to do it. So
Yeah.
it's like
or legs,
no matter what
legs of
end,
steel or balls of steel.
right? No matter what ended up happening, you still had the balls.
Still, yeah,
to do
ballsy as fuck.
Right.
So the battle raged on for hours, with both sides suffering heavy losses. But as the dust settled, it revealed George Washington standing proudly atop a mountain of British corpses,
Yes.
an American flag in one hand and a smoking pistol in the other. The Continental Army was victorious. I love this guy. I said that a bunch of times in the last episode.
Do you guys, by the way, do you love him for real?
Me personally,
I'm a fan.
I do
Yeah.
love George Washington. I mean, I accept him
Because-
warts and all.
Right.
Warts
And
all?
when I say warts and all, I'm not saying like,
He had
oh no,
warts?
it's fine that he
Genital,
had
the
slaves.
genital ones.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean,
genital
who,
warts.
at this
Had
point,
to-
who
he had
doesn't,
to have.
who doesn't have them?
He had to have.
I think what's the ratio of people that have HPV compared to people that don't have HPV?
But not
It's like
genital.
half of people.
Not
It's half now.
genital.
Isn't that what HPV is?
No, that's like everything. That's like a cold sore. That's like a fucking everything. But genital warts.
Coop's like, wait,
Wait.
everyone doesn't have what I have?
Coop is like, wait, I really thought I was like normal. No. HPV is just like the thing that's like, you know, the little things you get on your.
I mean, I don't have any. I should finish the episode because I think I need to.
That's all the time we have.
I need to make some phone calls first of all.
Cool. Yeah.
Hey Joel, when the show's over, can we have
that
a
out.
private conversation?
Cut it. Can we cut out where I thought it was super normal for everyone to have genital warts?
I'm joking. No, it was a joke. It was a joke.
Obviously,
Obviously
it was
a
a
joke.
joke. All right.
I mean, my genital area doesn't look like it's covered in cauliflower.
No. I would never.
If
I would
it's
never.
look like that from birth, Coop, it's fine.
Then it's normal.
Yes.
Oh, thank God. Okay.
Yeah. Then you got it.
Okay,
then you
never
got it
mind.
from your mom.
All right, now I've got some more time.
It's way
Which
cool.
makes sense.
Soup's normal, dude. It's all normal. I think it's like 90% of people got genital herpes from their mom. So
Either way, the majority of my problems come from my mother.
Yeah,
anyways. That's just
yeah.
something else that I can thank
All
her
of
for.
us.
But
All of
God
us.
bless her. I love that.
all of
woman.
us. Now that is normal. But go ahead.
Oh, now, see, that's something that people should be able to connect over. It's like, oh, you had a fucked up relationship with your parents too? Let's
Thank
be
you.
friends. Not like, oh, let's go and do mushrooms in the forest and talk about our fucked up relationship with our parents. Like, we're trying to get away from
it did feel like they had some kind of moral. Yeah, it was condescending. It's condescending to be like, how are you? Listen, bitch, how are you? Where are you living? Where are you living? In a yurt? Are you paying for it? Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, you're so high and mighty you can ask how I am. Why don't we just have a conversation about how we each are? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Oh, I mean,
it just always felt very condescending. Like, I'm enlightened.
That sounds like
How are
personal
you?
problem.
well, see, that's
I'm above it. I don't need a home. I do.
and the thing is, every time you run into somebody like that, they'll always talk to you from a position where it's like, oh, you know, I fixed all my problems,
Yeah.
so you know, I'm concerned about yours. And then you take a look at their life. It's like,
It's
oh
worse.
yeah, how was that
Yeah.
12 Vicodin and wine lunch that you just had earlier? And how's your relationship with your kids? Oh, you don't have a relationship with your
Yeah.
kids. They're all being taken care of by somebody else. Oh, okay, yeah.
BMW.
You're
That's
doing
why they
great.
talk like that. 'cause they're all
BMW
Vicodin.
hippies is what I used to call them, right? Like, remember,
BMW hippies.
they would roll up to the fucking Rainbow Bridge, by the way, in a BMW that
Convertible.
their parents gave them, and they said, fuck you, mom and dad. Like, I don't care about material stuff, and I'll take the BMW, but like, I'm not gonna, you know what I mean? And
Capitalism's bullshit,
So they
but-
have the BMW.
I mean, I
fully
need a
paid,
car.
but it's like on its last legs, right? Because they're not like they don't have money to take care of it, but like they did at one time have a nice BMW, and there's like sage hanging in the thing. And it's all like, you know what I mean? Like falling apart, but it's like, I've got a BMW.
You
Right?
you paint the most amazing picture of that.
Only to you guys because I know you
That's
know
OI.
it and
The
you've
real
seen it.
OI.
It's
Yeah.
the real
Hidden
OI.
OI,
It's
yeah.
BMW, nice Volvo hippies that like
but they're
told their
falling apart.
parents,
The
"Fuck you."
sage.
Yeah.
The
The
sage in the windshield.
sage,
Yeah, so you just
the
paint,
mattress in the back.
you paint such a beautiful picture of it that it would be impossible for me to just freestyle that, off the cuff. Wouldn't be able to do it.
Because we've lived it, guys. You know exactly what I'm talking about. And they're hot too. they're hot and they're stinky and they've got fucking, you know what I mean? Like they're all fucking hot. That's how they get all the things that they have. Like there was always these like hot BMW hippie chicks
Well,
around.
also,
That's
their
no
parents-
joke.
That
In
is
high school-
no
high
joke.
school, college, it was always like, how do we get to Ojai? That's where all the hot chicks
Because
are.
that's where all the hot chicks. There was many songs, actually a couple songs written about Ojai chicks. Because it was just like they have money, but a lot of freedom, and they're like super hippie and down for whatever.
And see,
They have
the
mattresses in the back of their
reason that they-
Volvos.
Oh yeah, those are.
100%.
I mean, that's one part of their lifestyle that I can fully agree with because I
100%.
benefited from it.
Yes.
But
Okay, sorry.
no, that
Nag Champa. Remember Nag Champa?
oh god,
Incense brings you back, right? If you fucking smell Nag
Every
Champa right
time I
now,
smell
you'll
that
get a
shit,
boner.
I have flashbacks.
Okay, sorry. But
it's-
George Washington, though.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah,
George.
Sorry.
Washington.
Washington.
Washington. I don't know how to. It's probably a British name.
Washington.
Complete opposite of a hippie.
It's French.
The battle of Monmouth, the battle had shown the world that the United States was a nation which won. Sorry, I tried to write this in proper English, and it's still
Right.
so confusing to me.
One.
Let me
Do an
see if I
accent
can-
with it.
Yeah? Do it.
No, I mean you're not supposed to end a sentence with a preposition. So for some reason, I felt like I wanted to do that here, even though I don't care about that.
I don't understand
The battle
any of
had
those
shown
words.
Grammar Nazi.
the battle had shown the world that the United States was a nation with which one should not fuck.
Damn, that was good. That was good.
That is the part of the episode that took me the longest to write. I had to go
Fair.
through it so many times.
Fair. I would never be able to.
Despite their lack of resources and training, they were a force to be reckoned with, a glorious tidal wave of freedom that crushed all who stood in its path. The British Army would never again underestimate the Continental Army. The tides of war had turned in favor of the colonists. As George and his troops celebrated their victory at Monmouth, they knew that the war was far from over, but the Continental Army was no longer the underdog in the fight against the Brits. Not with George Washington leading the charge.
Sick.
The further I got into writing this episode, like the more I was just like, yeah, fucking George Washington. Hell yeah.
Yeah,
This guy's a
dude.
fucking beast. The Revolutionary War dragged on for years, with both the Continental Army and the British Army scoring victories and suffering defeats. But the British Army was beginning to lose ground. Slowly but surely, Washington drove them back towards the gloomy hellhole from which they came. I did another sentence without ending it with a preposition. I don't know what kind of mood I was in when I was writing this.
Ooh, gloomy hellhole, my favorite.
One of the
Do
key
you want to
bit-
do you want to do a hard cut for me leaving?
You getting out of here? No, we can sail.
Do
we
I
can
need to
sign
sit
you off?
perfectly still so we can match the
How do you wanna
match the
do it?
shots?
How do you want to do it?
Well, how do you want to do it?
I think we should just say goodbye to you. It's okay, right? Wait, or do you want to
Look,
do something
Jesse,
fun?
we know that you don't want to be here, and you're doing us
No,
a
I
favor by
do.
spending this much time with us.
I do, I just hate
kind of
that,
funny
like-
that Joel and I show up for all of Crime
your-
Corner
and
I know.
One star, all
and
for
one
you.
star.
Interesting.
Sit around and deal with it the whole time. None of us get up
Yeah.
and walk out in the middle of it. But
Yeah.
you do
No.
you do what you got to do. We understand.
Cute, dude. Well, maybe if you didn't fucking interrupt with all your hippie stories, we would be done.
Hey, you know what? I'm
No,
the
it's
one.
me.
I'm the
So,
one
by the
sitting here
way-
with the notes. I say whatever the hell I want.
Okay, by the way, I'm the problem. This is why, like, we're not done right now, and I have to go because I'm.
But we love you, Jesse.
I love you guys. I'm
Jesse,
sorry.
we love you too. We appreciate you sticking around for this long.
Damn.
Dude, you
I
guys-
may talk shit, but you know it comes from a place of love. This is something that,
We talked
that those
about this.
filthy fucking hippies in Ojai would never do.
Well, but yeah, exactly. And like now, maybe you can get through the episode without me bringing up Nag Champa boners. By the way, I'm getting you both Nag Champa
Oh fuck!
incense
I'll light them.
because you know when you smell that
I'll light one every day here in the office.
boner. Immediately, it's just gonna bring
Okay,
you back to
I'll
the
admit,
fucking
I-
listening to Portishead and fucking some chick, dude. Right? Tell me I'm wrong.
Incubus.
I'll put it with my other box of Nog Champa that I already have at home. It's the only thing that gets me in the mood anymore.
I love you guys.
Love you,
Jesse,
Jesse.
thank you so much for being on the show.
Now people can actually listen. Two facts about George Washington.
Yeah,
My
everybody
bullshit.
tune in for the second half of the episode that just gets boring.
Yeah, now we can actually start the show.
Jesse, drive safe. We'll see you next week.
Yep.
Will do. Well,
So anyway, one of the key battles of the war was the Battle of Yorktown in 1781. The British Army had set up a base in Yorktown, Virginia, and the Continental Army, along with their French allies, laid siege to the town. I mean, I know they helped us out in the war, but
Dude, maybe the French will come back around.
I hope so.
And you're going to feel bad for all the shit you talked.
Oh, no, I'm talking shit about the way that they are, like, circa World War II up until now.
That's such a small... like, if you base it off percentage, they were badass for so long. You got to let them have it.
I know, that's
You got to
fair.
work on
So,
this hatred.
The
This
way...
pure
Well, no, the
hatred
way...
that was just given to you probably by your father or something.
well, I mean, most likely my grandfather.
So it's not real.
He was
dude.
raised in a different time, though, so
You gotta let it go,
Kind of got to give him a break. But the way that I see, like, what the French are doing now is, so actually this is related to one of the first memes that I ever created myself the other night, where I was laying in bed, I was listening to Spotify, I had a Hank Williams song come on my playlist or whatever it is. I don't get new technology anymore, so I don't know if it's a playlist or radio or whatever. It's just playing random songs that are associated with each other. So I had a Hank Williams song come on, and it just so happened that a Hank Williams Jr. song came on after that, and that made me think of Hank III. Hank the Third. He goes by Hank III. Can't stand the guy. Maybe one or two good songs. But the way that I see the French is I see the French as Hank III. So first it was the Gauls, that's Hank Williams. Next, you've got the good French that dominated Europe for a long time. Mm-hmm. And then you've got the French now, which is Hank III.
Okay.
Sure, they do some things that are okay. Like, I mean, I guess they can still make decent baguettes, which they learned from their ancestors just exact same way that Hank III learned how to write music was by riding the coattails of Hank Williams and Hank Jr., but still, Hank III is a disappointment. So France is the like nation equivalent of Hank III.
Okay. Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
I feel like it was important for me to say that. It's sort of like therapy. I just had to get it off my chest. So once again, George Washington played a critical role in the battle, overseeing the Continental Army's strategic maneuvers and coordinating with the smelly French troops. The siege continued for several weeks, with both sides suffering heavy losses. In the end, the Continental Army and the French Army emerged victorious. I know that it's in the notes, and I had to add the French in there, but I hesitated a bit. I just don't want to give them any credit.
Be nice.
The British Army was forced to surrender, effectively ending the Revolutionary War. In 1783, the Treaty of Paris was signed, officially ending the war and recognizing the United States as an independent nation.
Yeah.
George Washington was hailed as a hero, a god amongst men, if you will.
Yeah.
A shining beacon of liberty leading the world through the darkness.
Goddamn right.
Which America is starting to turn into Hank III right now, which is pissing me off. I think that instead of
we'll see what happens.
Instead of talking shit about the French, I'm just going to start making references to Hank Williams III. One of the most significant moments in George's life came in 1783 after the end of the Revolutionary War. Many colonists called for George to become the new king of the United States, a position that he could have easily accepted. Another one of the reasons that I have so much respect for George Washington is the fact that he was offered to be a king. He could become a monarch.
Be leader forever.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like the Roman dictator Cincinnatus. He was made dictator, and they asked him to stay dictator for longer, but as soon as he was done doing his job, he was like, no, I'm done. I'm going back to my farm. Except with George Washington, I'm going back to my plantation on Mount Vernon.
Yeah. But he did his term, right? Like he kept to the rules that they were making up, or
He did. Well,
something
no,
like this, right?
At that point, I'm fairly certain that at that point there wasn't a limit on terms that a president can serve. He was the first
So
president.
that's how badass he was. He knew that it wasn't the right thing. That's what everyone else had been doing.
That's why the first episode started with, or the first George Washington Part 1 started with me saying that he was the president that set the precedent for future presidents. Because after 2 terms, he was like, "All right, I'm done."
And that's what. Did they make that a rule that you can only do 2 terms back then, or is that something that came over time? Or
I don't think that came later, and I don't think it's technically accurate to say that you're limited to 2 terms. I think it's more of a suggestion. But I'm not an expert on government, so I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure it's you can only do 2 terms now. For sure.
That's what I thought too, until I saw a video on TikTok the other day of somebody making fun of people that were saying that presidents can only serve 2 terms, and I believe literally anything that I say on TikTok, or anything that I see on TikTok. So
Okay.
I'm assuming it must be true. I'm not going to put the research time into it. So George was offered to be the king of the United States, but he had just spent years fighting to rid the U.S. of a monarch, and he wasn't about to become one himself. He
Like
knew
a
that the
boss.
idea of a king was incompatible with the principles of democracy and freedom that he had fought for. He turned down the offer, cementing his place in history as a champion of democracy. But George wasn't content to rest on his laurels. The fledgling nation still faced many challenges, and he was determined to do whatever it took to ensure it would become the greatest nation on God's green earth.
Goddamn right.
In 1787, George was elected as president of the Constitutional Convention, playing a critical role in drafting the United States Constitution. 2 years later, he was elected as the first president of the United States. So now he's actually president.
Yeah, it's a long ride.
Yeah. I mean, a whole lot of stuff happened in his life, and I left a bunch of it out just for the sake of time.
I think it's cool to make note that he did all this badass shit, probably not even knowing he was going to be president, and he just did it for his country, you know?
Yeah.
He was, I mean, I guess he was a rich kid growing up, which you kind of like, bleh, bleh.
I mean,
but he still did all that shit, and he fought all that stuff, and
comparatively, yeah, he was more well off than other people at the time. I don't know what the actual comparison would be. Like, I don't think that he was a Kardashian or anything like that.
no,
But he was
middle class up to rich class, somewhere right there.
Yeah, he did have a very stable foundation to work from, because it's pretty rare that somebody comes from a very unstable, poor foundation.
A lot of people with a little bit of stabilization and money choose to stay out of everything.
True.
Or dodge the draft, etc.
I know that I brought it up in the last episode, but again, I really want to stress the fact that everybody that was in charge of this revolution put their lives on the line. Like,
Yeah.
I have so much respect for the founding fathers, because they were literally betting their lives. I mean, the lives of, tens of thousands of other people in the country who all fought willingly, for the most part. Not all of them fought willingly. Anyway, they were putting their lives on the line
To tell mom and dad to go fuck off.
to tell mom and dad, like, no, fuck you. And they succeeded. And they didn't even get grounded for it. They just got their own house out of the deal. As George Washington entered the twilight of his life, he had already secured his place in history as one of the greatest leaders the world had ever known. But he remained committed to the cause of the new nation and continued to work tirelessly to ensure its success. In 1796, George announced that he would not seek a third term as president, setting a precedent for future leaders and establishing the tradition of a peaceful transfer of power. And again, that's something else. Like, he wasn't even fighting to maintain control of the presidency. He was the very first president, was setting the stage, showing, like, because I believe in this country so much, I'm going to peacefully pass power to the next person in line, because that's how this should be run. That's how things should be done. And I want everybody in the future to see that and not be a little bitch about switching between presidents. He retired to his estate at Mount Vernon for some well-deserved rest, where he was, again, waited on by his slaves.
And he slept with a lot of them, right?
With him, I don't...
We don't. You know what?
I'm not sure. Jefferson, Jefferson sure as fuck did. Jefferson had a little bit of the jungle fever. Jefferson had a whole lot of the jungle fever, actually. George remained at Mount Vernon until his death in 1799, leaving behind a legacy that would inspire future generations of Americans.
God damn right.
He had led the nation through a revolutionary war, established the framework for a new government, the best government in the world until it got ruined by the bullshit politics. The framework was good. The execution, poor.
This isn't a political show.
I know. It just makes me so fucking mad the way that things have been. And he set the standard for future leaders. His most significant legacy, however, was his commitment to the ideals of democracy and freedom. He had never wavered in his dedication to the cause, and he had never lost sight of the importance of the principles that he had fought for. So today, well, it's not President's Day anymore, but continuing the celebration of President's Day, or specifically the celebration of George Washington.
It was because President's Day is his birthday, right?
No, it's not.
It's not? I thought it was.
Nope. No, some people call it George Washington's birthday, but that's just like a colloquialism. It's not actually his birthday. Okay, we'll call it his birthday. So today, let us celebrate his legacy and the ideals that he had championed throughout his life. George Washington was a man of unwavering principles who had dedicated his life to the cause of freedom and democracy. He put his life on the line for Lady Liberty and played a pivotal role in the construction and the foundation of our great nation. In closing, God bless Washington and God bless America. But, he also owned slaves, so fuck him, I guess. So that's it for this episode. Did that
great.
light a fire of patriotism in your heart?
Fuck yeah, it was beautiful.
For me, going through and researching the episode and writing, just the whole time in the back of my head, I was just like, fucking fucking USA, fuck yeah.
There was people that were really good generals that kicked ass in battle. He wasn't one of them. So the fact that even though he knew he sucked, he was like, fuck it, I'm going to charge.
Still going for it.
It means so much more to me.
Personally leading
Superman
a charge.
saves the world all the time, but he's got superpowers, so
he's
it's
invincible.
not even cool.
Yeah, he's Superman isn't really putting anything on the line when he does anything. It's just like, oh, well, I'm stronger than everybody else and nobody can hurt me, so yeah, sure. I mean, that's why he's one of the shittiest superheroes out there, except for the fact that he likes to fight for America. That I can get behind. Cool. I'm becoming way too patriotic in my old age.
It's just because it's been a patriotic week.
Yeah.
George deserves it.
Hey, every week is a patriotic week for me.
Good for you.
I'm a true fucking American.
Good for you.
So anything you want to talk about before we close this out?
Nah, let's get the fuck out of here, Coop. Let's go get drunk.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us once again for this episode of the Iconoblast podcast. If you're in the YouTube premieres, which we have every Monday night at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time on the Iconoblast podcast YouTube channel, don't forget to hit the like button, or else Adam is going to get in the chat and he's going to yell at all of us.
Yeah.
And also, thank you for that, Adam. Also, you can follow us on Instagram at Iconoblast Podcast. You can follow me at Coop Nukem. You can follow Joel at Joel R. Benner. You can also follow Jessie Wiseman at Jessie Wiseman.
Yep.
So that's it. We'll see you all next week. I'm pretty sure that next week's episode is going to be about the Harlem Hellfighters because I got a request for an episode about the Harlem Hellfighters.
Who the hell is that?
The Harlem Oh, dude. Oh, dude. You're gonna. I was talking shit about the Americans in World War I, but I said that the Harlem Hellfighters were an exception.
Yeah.
They're the exception, and they are badass.
It's kind of a World War I episode?
Yeah, it's definitely a World War I episode. They only existed during World War I.
Okay.
But yeah, dude, the Harlem Hellfighters, holy shit. Like, they are some of the best one of the best parts about World War I, which overall, World War I didn't have a whole lot of good parts. It was a pretty terrible war from start to finish, but most are. But the Harlem Hellfighters were badass. So anyway, we will see you all next week. Until then, my name is Matt Cooper.
Joel Benner. Fuck. Doing too many things.
And we're reminding you to never take anything at face value.